Tell me your dreams over bacon and eggs. We'll share a laugh and a story and even a wish on the breakfast dish. Bop, bop, bop.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 23rd episode of The Breakfast Dish. Karen, quick breakfast fact, go.
If you put an orange from the fridge into the microwave for 5 seconds, it warms it a little bit and you can peel it easier.
Really? Is that a real thing, or did you make that up?
No, seriously, I learned that from my mother, your grandmother.
How did she decide to do that? How did she decide to test that?
Your grandmother is an amazing woman, and she's passed on her life knowledge to me. So all I'm saying, and the best oranges are those Cara oranges, C-A-R-A. Get those, take it out of the fridge, put it in the microwave for like 5 to 8 seconds, and then it's just easier to peel.
I need to back up in case, and I do know that my grandmother will eventually listen to this episode, so I am not doubting the intelligence of my grandmother,
right.
Your mother.
How dare you?
I'm saying, how did that action pop into her head in the first place? It's kind of the question like, how was milk discovered? That kind of thing. Why did she decide to put the orange in the microwave?
She predates microwaves, so I have no idea.
Very interesting. That's a very good point. Oh, my God.
Hey, Griffin, what do we do on this podcast?
What do we do?
Yeah, what do we do?
We mostly make fun of each other and kind of talk to our friends of the community, really barely touching on any kind of art that we're trying to amplify, be it digital or online or socially distant in person. We do our best, and, that is our quote-unquote mandate, but we do tend to get off on tangents involving the fruit of our relatives.
Or person date, not necessarily a mandate.
Person date, right. I don't know if that particular term is gendered, but I appreciate it.
I don't know either.
As we move in to our different spin on things, we have a very exciting, because we just interviewed Stafford Arima about A Christmas Carol, Theatre Calgary's Christmas Carol, but we are also talking about a Christmas Carol this time around, but with a twist, with a painted, dolled up twist. Karen, introduce our guests. Do it.
Our guests are Michael Rolfe and Kristy Benz, who are with the production that Blue Jeans Theatre is putting on of A Christmas Carol, a drag story.
Yes.
Did I get the title right?
It's just Christmas Carol, a drag story. We took the from the beginning of Christmas Carol and put it in front of drag story.
So it's like Pig Latin, A Christmas Carol, drag story, but now it's Christmas Carol, a drag story. I am so stupidly excited about this production. I can't even wait.
Yes, it's very clear because it's it's easily the most we've said a title of any interview we've ever done. So we're really off to a great start in terms of the amplifying of this. So why don't you quickly just talk a little bit about what you are both doing in the production?
Yeah, sure. So I am the artistic associate of Blue Jeans Theatre, and I am the production manager for the show. Also, during our rehearsal period, I am some sort of a stage manager, and I am also playing the role of the ghost of Christmas Future.
Right, so a lot of things. You're doing a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Lots of lists. I make about 5 lists every day.
That is a long line.
Any job on top of stage manager is very impressive to me.
Yep.
Michael, how about you?
Yeah, I my resume is not quite as stacked. It is that. Oh, I know. It's not how much you do. It's just do the job.
There are no small pots.
No small pots. Only small people. Oh, that doesn't sound right. But I personally am an actor in the show. I actually play Ebenezer Scrooge, which is very exciting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't think I'd be playing that role till I was at least 30 years older than I am now. So I'm breaking barriers, doing stuff.
Yeah.
It feels great. And I work with probably about, I think 10 other actors around that, and to put the show together over Zoom, and we've filmed some stuff as well, so it's kind of like a multimedia production as well.
Right. So I do want to jump into the kind of the formation of Blue Jeans, but because this is something that Karen and I talked about. Is it over Zoom? Is it filmed? It's an amalgamation of the two, right? It's kind of both.
Or live stream, or
Yeah.
Yes, to all three. So
Wow.
so we are doing some pre-filming. We have some scenes that we're filming. We filmed today a couple of the future scenes, and then we will be the night of recording live. The actors will be on a Zoom meeting that then our technical director Graham Kingsley will be broadcasting live.
That's an A-team technical director you brought on right
Oh yes,
Graham Kingsley is the bomb, she says, trying to sound younger than she is. But
there. Yeah, totally tubular, Karen. So rad. Well done.
that's like we're doing Christmas Carol and Charles Dickens is the dramaturg, is basically what you're saying.
yes.
Yeah, kickflip.
Yeah.
We are so lucky to have Graham. Shannon and I
yeah.
don't know what we're doing when it comes to the technical stuff. And Shannon has actually been picking up a lot of the filming and whatnot, and she's doing some of the editing as well. So she's definitely getting on board, but Graham is just going to take it up to a whole other level.
It's brilliant.
And I'm right in saying that it's you and Shannon that originally formed Blue Jeans Theatre, yes?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Right. So I think right now is, as if I'm right about this, Calgary's newest theatre company. What went into the forming of Blue Jeans Theatre?
That's such a great question. How this collective started was that Shannon told me about this conversation that she'd had with her mom. It was in July, and she said, we just thought it would be super cool if you did a Christmas Carol, but the spirits were drag stars. And I was like, you know what? That's the best idea that anyone has ever thought of. And so we just kind of kept on talking about it over the course of the summer until finally we said, you know what? If we're going to do this, we have to do it now.
Yep.
And thus, Blue Jeans Theatre was born.
And I love how in your press release you've said it's less 19th century London and more RuPaul. I think that's like a great hook line for you there.
In case anyone was confused. And I will say, mother-kid conversations are our currency on this podcast, but I also love that it was the mother's idea that they were drag stars. I guess Shannon has a really cool mom. Why haven't you ever talked to me about drag queens, Karen?
Wait, haven't I introduced you to like 17?
What?
All the best people are drag stars. Anyway, guess where I met Shannon?
At a drag con?
Did you meet her at drag con?
No, that'd be more fun. Shannon's ex-arts trekker.
Oh.
She was super Shannon when I worked with her, and she's always super Shannon. I'm just saying good things come out of Arts Trek. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, that is true.
Theatre Alberta's summer camp for teens.
All right, Theatre Alberta, that'll be $50. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. So to be clear, all the ghost, I don't even know if ghost is the right term. It's such a new twist. I have no idea. The spirits of past, present, and future are all drag stars.
Yes.
Is it narratively explained why they're drag stars? Don't give anything away. That's I'm so bad at asking questions that do that.
No, I don't think we ever felt that needed to be justified.
It doesn't. I love it.
I think it's just all part of our queer take on
Totally.
Christmas Carol.
Yeah, Mike, how does it feel? It is crazy because it is a production that's ran along so many. I mean, obviously this production has a twist on it, to be sure, but the character of Scrooge, the character of Ebenezer Scrooge, has been running in regional theaters for as long as I knew that theater was a thing. So how does it feel stepping into those shoes?
Oh, terrifying, mortifying.
Yeah, it's not a small question. I apologize to put it on you.
Oh, no problem. It's hard to think about that question in a light that doesn't include all those productions, because it is probably, the most produced Christmas show. Like, it is just one of those shows that is like the Christmas classic and everyone wants to see it. And it's, I even remember getting tickets many years in a row to go see it at Theatre Calgary. Like, it's just one of those like family traditions. But I think, what truly, gets me excited about this production and what makes me less daunted by the prospect of playing Scrooge is the fact that it is a queer Christmas Carol. And I think the reason that kind of alleviates some of that stress is because the story takes on a new shape. It is less now about just, a wealthy older gentleman who needs, he needs his heart to grow 3 more sizes. He's like the Grinch. He needs a bigger heart. It's not just about that. It also kind of talks about accepting yourself and loving yourself, and also, in a sense, some of the problems that we have around Christmas, in that there are a lot of queer homeless youth out there who are abandoned by their families, which sounds really intense, but it is a true fact and statistic in Canada that a disproportionate amount of youth who are on the street are LGBT youth. And I think part of what the show is trying to do is to not just open our hearts to Christmas, but like open our hearts to like all of the special people in our lives, all of our family, anyone who is special or unique. And there are so many special and unique people under the LGBT rainbow. And in a sense, I think this production is also trying to make sure that they get seen,
Yeah, I really like that you've... I mean, the answer was... sorry, I'm kind of reeling from the answer. It was a really lovely answer. I really enjoy exploring those like super tough topics in the kind of... not only the magic and joy of theater in general or the Christmas season in general, but in the kind of fantastical world that, again, I can only imagine that you and your team are creating. I think that's a really nice doorway into that.
And you know what? There is nothing quite as fantastic as drag queens. Like, I don't know who all of your favorite drag queens are, but like it. I can't get over some of these looks that our like drag performers have come up with for this show. There are glitter beards, there are wreaths, there are mugs that say hot stuff. I can't like, the creativity is always so phenomenal with drag queens. I don't know if you find that. I know every drag queen I've ever met has been like out of this world beautiful or like unbelievably creative.
I was just going to say, I'm really looking forward to, and you don't have to tell me, I'm just going to tell you what I'm looking forward to, and I expect no response.
Okay.
But the relationship that represents, if there is in your production, the Scrooge and Belle relationship, and whether or not there's a twist on that, I'm super interested in that. And the second thought I had was, if I'm right, the novel describes Christmas past, the spirit of Christmas past, as not a man, but not a man, right? So I love that idea. And even if you saw last year's Theatre Calgary production, Jamie Tognazzini's character was very sort of anti-human in such a kind way, which is great. But you can do anything with that character. But the fact that there's a drag element to it makes it the closest to the Dickens description of that character.
Karen, I think you might be a genius. Are you a genius?
I might be.
Right, yeah, I did see Michael had a physical reaction to the Scrooge and Belle point, so we do need to dive into that a little.
Absolutely.
And I will say, for all the listeners, we're currently looking at Michael's shoulder and left bicep, because I think he's in a standing sound studio, which I, as the editor, deeply appreciate. But we did still see the after the Belle and Scrooge.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I had a visceral reaction to that because Karen, you're on the money. That relationship. This is more than just a drag show. It is a queer show in many other ways, and that shows up in queer relationships and that relationship. Scrooge's relationship is I don't know if I really want to give it away, but it is different.
No,
it's different.
Delete.
But it's exciting.
We can say that Belle's character is not there, but that relationship is still present.
That's a great description.
And that's sorry, did I ask this? Is it Shannon's adaptation?
Yes.
And that's the other thing is I've read, because I directed it a couple of years ago, I read probably 30 different adaptations, and there are so many different ones. And yeah, there's some where that relationship isn't talked about. There's some where that relationship is completely fleshed out. But yeah, I love that this story is not about people falling in love. In the sense that, like, it's a person's story, but it is kind of about relationships, but not romantic relationships that this guy has to work on. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And a lot of the relationships that we're working with in this new adaptation are like chosen family.
Yeah.
So we still have Bob, we still have Fred, Scrooge's nephew, and we still have Tiny Tim, and they actually form a chosen family.
Oh my God, that's nice.
It's super
I
nice.
love it.
Yes, it is. So yeah, like I said, we've just kind of retweaked some of the relationships to make it more about chosen family, and we do also have that queer aspect in there as well. But yeah, we'll keep that a secret.
And glitter beards.
And glitter beards.
And glitter beards.
Right. So on top of all of the other twists that you've put on this production, and this is kind of a question that I ask a lot of the projects, is what if you could describe one of the greatest boons in kind of exploring this new medium in terms of especially the combination of live video and recorded video. That's super interesting to me in terms of, especially with the whole spiritual ethereal portion of this story.
What's the advantage, you mean, of having to cross media borders?
Absolutely. But we can definitely talk about challenges, but it's always interesting to me when artists are adapting into a new medium, is there fun surprise of like, oh, this worked out great. This is the only way we could have done this. Do you know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, for myself, what I think is like a huge boon is the the thing I miss most about theater is going to a theater and having, a suspension of disbelief. We're going to go to this place, and then in 2 seconds, there's going to be snowflakes falling from the ceiling, and then someone's going to wheel out a staircase, and now we're in the past.
Yeah.
Now, that...
Shown by the staircase.
Yeah, right? It's just stairs. Oh,
man, that staircase is really old. We must be way back there now. Holy.
Are those
that handle.
bricks?
That's a spiral
Look at that
staircase.
filigree.
But I do love that. Like, I do love that about theater. But what I think is so fascinating about having like more of like a live Zoom show that we can also pre-record stuff is we get some of the advantage of film, which is we can instantly go to a new location and be like, oh, we're actually there. And so many of the spirit locations that we play with, I think, we actually get to go there, we get to see it fully realized, and we don't have to suspend our disbelief because we truly see the impact of, the past, the present, and the future. So I think that's a huge, it's a bonus, but it does make me miss theater a lot.
Yeah.
What about you, Kristy?
Yeah. Oh, gee. There are just so many things that we're learning every day with this new medium. Shannon, like I mentioned, has been doing all this video editing and whatnot that I don't know if she would have done without the project. So that's a great new skill for her to have. And then I guess also we just realized that going into Tech Week, or Tech Weeks starts on Tuesday, and we realized we already have all these scenes completed. And so we don't have to tech them. I mean, we still have to edit them. There's still that element to it. But maybe, I don't know, a third of the play is already taken care of. Which at the same time, we were really careful that wouldn't affect the actors' arc, because we still really wanted for the actors to be able to have that full realization of their character arc. Michael, I definitely hope that can still be true for you in this mix of filmed and live that we're doing.
I hope so too. I hope so.
Well, it's one of the things I hear the most when actors compare film and theater, is that for theater you kind of take another crack at it every night, right? Like it has the freedom to be different every night, and you can have the whole conversation of like how much consistency you can have and blah blah blah, but then film, once you do it and the director's happy, it's done. You're moving on, you're going, right? So following that storyline is so enticing to me in terms of going from live stream to pre-recorded. And as an actor, I think it would be so interesting to take a new crack at the transition points between the pre-recorded stuff, and seeing or as an audience member seeing it more than once, figuring out how the pre-recorded stuff landed differently this time because what was done in the live stuff or the live stream stuff. I think it just, frankly, I think the production sounds like it has a lot of rewatchability in terms of.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think every theater show is different every night, but I think because there are so many more constants, like actually unchangeable constants in this version of a show, it's almost easier to identify what changes, like for an audience, which I think is really exciting.
I want to throw a question out.
Do it.
You know what, Karen? You're the host. Hell yeah, let's do it.
Have either of you watched a filmed version? I'm assuming you've seen a stage version. Have you watched any of the film versions? Alistair Sim or Bill Murray or
Muppets
or whatever. And which is your favorite Christmas Carol film?
Muppets. Muppets. Absolutely.
The Muppets,
Nice.
hand down.
Yeah, yes. Marley and Marley.
Yes. Oh, that's so good.
Okay.
What a classic.
Next question. And Michael, you said you didn't see yourself playing this part for another 30 years or so.
Yeah, ish, yeah.
I'm thinking about it because you are probably in your late 20s. And I'm thinking if, I don't think Stephen could have been that much into his 40s before he started playing the part at Theatre Calgary. Like it's the attitude of that guy more than the age. I mean, he's lived this way his whole life, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a long time, really.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But what character, if you weren't playing Scrooge, and Kristy, if you weren't playing Future, what character do you most see yourself as? Not even in the play, but in real life, what character do you most associate with? That's
really good. I personally would have to say the Spirit of Christmas Present. I mean, I don't always have a bountiful feast ready for everyone. I'll say that much. But I think that the Christmas Present has this certain just absolute jollity and pure desire for a life well lived. And I really love that aspect. And also they sometimes have some really cutting words to say, like, that family member that gives you a backhanded compliment. And I feel like I get like that sometimes. So I very much relate to the Spirit of Christmas Present. I think that's a lovely persona, and I think many of us embody that at Christmas time as well. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it.
Kristy?
This is such a good question. I feel like I could say any of them, just depending on my mood.
Yeah, true.
But right now, I would say Fred. Fred is just this caring, sweet. Goes to show you how I feel right now.
No, it's great.
Yeah, I think Fred is a very lovely individual who just cares how other people feel and is trying to make a difference in the world.
Yeah, it's about giving to making the other person happy.
Fred is easily my favorite character, and it's not something that clicked for me until like 2 or 3 years ago, where you really see the stubbornness in both Fred and Scrooge, just on either sides of the spectrum, in terms of determined to be angry, determined to be happy, like that, which is just great writing that I didn't even click with right away. But Fred's easily my favorite.
I associate with Mrs. Cratchit because usually there's nothing in my fridge to feed you for supper, and I worry a lot. So.
Oh.
Okay, wait a minute. If you're Mrs. Cratchit, which child am I?
You're Peter. You look really good in that shirt. Go out and get a job. You're 12.
Go out and get a job. Well, not on the podcast.
I've been saying that to you since you've been 12 in real life.
Well, as Christmas Carol, as Mike said, and as I think Karen and I said on the podcast, is quite a set solid kind of tradition in my family, and I'm sure many families here. I'd love to hear about another Christmas tradition in both of your lives, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah. Good question, boy.
Thanks, Mom. We're doing great, you and I. All right, back to the guests.
Christmas tradition. You know what? My Christmas tradition with my family is, I think part of it is because, my parents, their bodies are older, so they can't necessarily bring in the tree anymore. But I very much love to bring in the tree for them, and then we set it up, and my mom inevitably looks at me and she's like, well, what's the tree gonna look like this year? And there's sort of this she empowers me. She says, what's the theme of the tree this year? and I can take as much power as I want, but I usually try to be as collaborative as I can. And some years it's a Disney tree. We're gonna do all Disney ornaments, and then this year she looked at me and she's like, "Well, what are we gonna do?" And I said, "You know what? This year it's an orbs year. We're gonna do all orbs all the time." So we got lots.
You gotta have an orb.
Gotta have an orb year, and we did all orbs, all different shapes and sizes, all from across the world. Like we have ones from Poland, from India, from the UK. We have orbs from everywhere. So it's just, I think.
Right. Okay. Wait a minute. I do have to ask about this. Do you just have these different themes of decorations ready to go in your basement, or do you have to get other ones?
Oh no, they're all there for us. I don't think she's thrown out a single thing. I think we have tinsel that's probably as old as I am. Like, it's just, there's nothing that goes to waste in terms of Christmas at our house. Like, we hold on to all that stuff.
So you walk into the living room and you say, "Mom, this year's theme is legalized weed," and she can just go for it.
Yeah. Well, if she accepted that theme. That's probably one of the ones where she'd snort and then slap my arm and be like, "Okay, be real though. What are we doing?" And I'd be like, "Okay, I guess we'll do something else then."
I wouldn't accept it either, Griffin. Don't even think about it. Kristy, what's your tradition?
Too late. You offered it. Welcome to Christmas trickery.
I am trying really hard to think of a tradition that I've actually maintained every single year. And to be honest, I think the only one is watching a Muppet Christmas Carol.
Right on.
Every single year.
That's a really excellent one. But there's also kind of a certain beauty to exploring like a little fraction of a new tradition every year, or saying goodbye to an old tradition. Like there's that in itself, like trying something new is also an old tradition as well.
That's hard.
What do you mean?
Letting go of the old tradition is hard. Like, for example, I was for years a purist, and it had to be the Alistair Sim Christmas Carol movie, or I wasn't going to watch it. And if it wasn't, like for a long time, I was like, I can't watch anybody but Stephen Hare play it live. And now I've directed or seen a number of productions of it, and I'm willing now to go, okay, don't get stuck on what you love about past productions. Go see what this production has to offer, which is why I'm super, super excited for yours.
Fine. I guess Mike Rolfe can play it this time. I have to go see it. Bah humbug to all other Christmas carols. This is it. We got her, ladies and gentlemen. Karen's the Scrooge of Christmas carols. That's the end of the podcast. This has all been a ruse.
Okay, I'm going off the rails now a little bit, since we're talking favorites and tradition stuff. Favorite Christmas song, Kristy?
Oh, you know what? I actually once made a playlist entirely of different versions of Carol of the Bells.
Winner.
Whoa.
That's a big win.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Anything in a minor key, I just love. It's like just a little bit creepy, but it's still Christmassy.
Awesome. Michael?
Oh, yeah, you know what, Kristy? You make a great point. I love songs with a minor key. And so I love Carol of the Bells as well. But you know what? I think actually my all-time favorite Christmas song probably has to be The 12 Days of Christmas. And it's 100% Eddie Izzard's part in me loving that, because Eddie Izzard did this bit once where he said, no one knows any of the other days. They just get to 5 gold rings and lose their minds. And I've always loved it ever since then, because you're right. Everyone amplifies their volume by at least, 3 decibels to be like 5 gold rings. And it's just, and that tickles my heart so much that no matter what, you go anywhere and people will just lose their mind at 5 gold rings.
That's so true. It's like everybody in the bar going, "Just a small town girl."
Oh, 100%.
Living in a and then they don't know what to do after that.
Or like, Mamma Mia, like, all that stuff.
No, we will not let him go.
Let him go.
Karen, what's your favorite Christmas song? I don't think I know.
Me? Roger Whittaker doing Darcy the Dragon.
What?
Roger Whittaker. He was older than me even, honey.
I know.
He sings
Sorry,
a song
I know
about
who Roger Whittaker is.
Darcy the Dragon. And Darcy the Dragon lives in the forest, and he's really nice, and he wants to buy gifts for all his friends. And when he says out loud, "I want to buy gifts for all his friends," fire comes out of his mouth, and he burns down part of the town. And then they get mad, but they forgive him.
Oh.
And then he goes in shopping, and then he does it again. He says, "Oh, this is a great gift," and he burns more town, and they get mad and they run him out of town, rah, rah, rah. And
yeah,
then
of course.
he's
the
really
dragon's
sad.
ruining Christmas. He burned the gifts for all my kids.
And there's a big storm. And then the wind and rain go right down his throat and put out the fire inside. That's how it goes. And then he doesn't have a fire anymore, and he can go be friends with the town. Actually, now that I've said the plot of the song,
Yeah, I was going to say,
really terrible.
The only way that this dragon is accepted at my Christmas is if he quenches the fire inside him.
Yeah, whatever you do,
I'll destroy
Darcy,
this dragon's dreams.
do not be yourself at Christmas.
Yeah, maybe quite opposite Christmas Carol, a
That's
drag
right.
story. So how dare you, Karen?
Griff, what's your favorite?
I really like It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. I think that's just a classic. I really enjoy that song. I don't have anything funny or cool to say about it. I just like the lyrics. But I'm also kind of I get kind of a vice for any Michael Bublé songs.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to not just sit and enjoy those. It's like a weird little Christmas drug that I do for a month and a
yeah.
half.
It's right up there.
Hey, speaking of drugs, actually, we're not speaking of drugs at all.
Yeah, no, wait. Go ahead, Karen. Go down that road.
Am
One
I
second. I'd
putting
love
you
to hear.
on the
Go ahead.
spot if I ask you to tell me?
If I ask you how many times you've dropped acid. What were you actually going to ask, Karen?
Okay, I want to know the answer to that too. But am I putting you on the spot if I ask you the other cast members?
No, not at all. Yeah, so our director and the playwright is Shannon Murphy. Technical director is Graham Kingsley. Ebenezer Scrooge is Michael Rolfe. Bob is played by Giselle Loren. Fred is Emily Howard. Tiny Tim is Elijah De La Rosa. Marley is Roel Swassen. The Ghost of Christmas Past is Conrad Billau. The Ghost of Christmas Present is Marshall Viel. And the Ghost of Christmas Future is myself, Kristy Benz.
Wow, yeah, that's you got an all-star lineup.
And also, can I just point out that 3 of those company members are Dirty Laundry company members? So
Oh my God, Karen.
just see my little segue there.
Yeah,
I did that.
Dirty Laundry,
This is
Art
true.
Strike. Is there another company affiliation you want to toss in here, KJD?
Neil Diamond. Okay, carry on.
Got it. Thank you very much. That's actually, we're out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us.
You know, Roel was a name that I didn't recognize, and I thought, well, I haven't seen this person. And then I snooped a little bit and realized that Roel was in Louder We Get.
That's right.
Yes.
And probably other things in Calgary, and I guess haven't met them in person, so don't have that connection. But everyone else in the cast, I'm like, oh. But then when I saw Louder I Get, then I was excited about Roel.
He's great. He's lovely.
Yes, we're very excited about our entire team. Everyone is just bringing everything they have and making fantastic offers, and we're so excited about every single one of them.
If you were picking the second show, like the next show that Blue Jeans Theater is going to do, and imagine there's no COVID, imagine you're in real time, like real life, stay together times, what would it be?
Imagine you guys were in real life.
And how much acid have you done?
I was going to say, Karen's high. Karen's so high.
We actually do have some plans for an upcoming show. We have applied for a couple development residencies.
Blue Jeans Theater has plans for future productions. This isn't going to be a one-off.
Yes.
Actually, I did have another question. I mean, it is nice to hear that Blue Jeans Theater has plans, and you know, we'll divulge that when the time's right. I have kind of a hard question, and I guess I should be asking Shannon, but I do want to hear if you guys have any thoughts on it. Is cutting down Christmas Carol to 60 minutes, which I think is one very considerate of you, given in terms of the dwindling attention span of the general public in general, but also watching a Zoom show, blah 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 blah. How did you do that?
Yeah, I think in part how we did it was by cutting out a lot of characters. So we each read the story, the Dickens story, and talked about what characters we thought were central to our plot and our adaptation. And then Shannon went and wrote.
I just want to know, has the cast or have any of you, did you get joy out of the novel? Because I had never read the novel after I'd seen the movie and play 40 bazillion times, and then I read the novel and just went, oh my God, I love this. And then I read a couple other Christmas stories by Dickens and just fell in love. So did that happen to you?
Some of the descriptions, for sure, really tickled me, and there are some things. I mean, some of the text it is verbatim in so many of the adaptations that we see. And so I was reading and I was like, yep, I know this. But then there are just all these little descriptions and these little, like when they go to see the coal miners and what are they singing Silent Night, or there are just all these really little magical moments that you don't get in most adaptations. So yeah, it did delight me in that way.
Okay, I want to know brass tacks, Griffin. Ask the brass tacks.
You want to know the... Okay, I see. Okay. Right. So, give us the details. When does Christmas Carol, a drag story... I'm seeing how many times you can say the title to kind of up that maximum that we have. When does it begin? When does it open? When does the stream start?
It opens December 16th. That's a Wednesday at 7 p.m. and it runs until Wednesday, December 23rd. We do have a matinee on Saturday and Sunday, both at 2 p.m.
And the shows run 60 minutes. Where do people go?
All right, tickets can be purchased at christmascaroladragstory.bpt.me.
And BPT is brown paper tickets, I bet.
That is correct.
You can probably even, if you can't grasp that one because it's hard for me, you can just go to brown paper tickets probably and search Christmas Carol, a drag story.
Yes, that's right as well.
And then you'll be sent a link to go to watch the thing on the day?
Yes, yep, that's right.
And because it is half live, half not live, half live, half dead, half live, half filmed.
What?
It's
as a doornail.
Watch it. He was dead as a doornail. It's watch it at that time at 7:00. It's not something that you can enjoy at midnight.
That's right. Yes, thanks for that clarification.
How much does it cost?
It's pay what you can.
Oh.
We're recommending for students and artists $10 and for general public $25.
Lovely.
But you can pay absolutely whatever you feel like.
And do you have a maximum amount of people that can live stream? And I ask this because I've watched a couple of live stream things lately where they say it's sold out. And so I guess that's because if you try to, I don't know, is there a max people?
There is, and I actually can't answer that question right now. So.
Which is good, yeah. So that leaves it open. You got to get your tickets right now because who knows when it's going to sell out.
Exactly.
If you want your own slice of the bandwidth, get on your ticket now.
Michael, Kristy, thank you very much for joining us on The Breakfast Dish and talking about all your Christmas times.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. This was just lovely.
I have to do a few little housekeeping things right here by thanking our supporters, the Calgary Arts Development Authority, the Rozsa Foundation, and the Calgary Foundation. The intro music you just heard and the outro music you're about to hear is by Alexandra Cowman, and all graphic design has been done by Morgan Ermter. Karen, what else is going on this week?
Vertigo Theatre and Lunchbox Theatre are together producing It's a Wonderful Life, a live radio play. Now, this is what I think it's ironic, I don't know, but It's a Wonderful Life was a movie, and then somebody put it into a radio play, and then somebody made that live, so you'd go sit live and watch the radio play, but now it's stay away from each other time, so now you're just going to listen to the radio
You're
play.
slowly gaining a Wonderful Life dialect.
That's right.
Listen,
let me tell you, it's online, Lunchbox, and the brand new artistic director of Lunchbox, Bronwyn Steinberg, she's really excited about it, and Craig Hall, why...
All right, hey, sorry, Karen, just some vocal notes here from the booth. We're just going to need you to go back to your normal dialect.
Oh, okay.
Thanks so much.
Okay,
sorry.
But I can be taller.
It's from the producers. So.
Anyway,
yeah.
Craig Hall from Vertigo Theatre, the artistic director, directed it. It's adapted by Joel Landry, and here's where it goes. The production streams online from December 15th to December 24th. Online performance times, similar to you guys where you have to go with the time, are 7:30 p.m. December 15th to 20th and 22nd to 23rd, 6 p.m. on December 19th, 2 p.m. on December 20th and 24th. If by any chance you've been living under a rock, It's a Wonderful Life follows George Bailey on Christmas Eve. He's on the edge of ruin, and there's a spirit involved as well, and he learns what life would be like if he wasn't born, what the world would be like if he wasn't born.
Okay, well, but I'll say it. I'll be the first one to say it. I'll be brave. George Bailey's spirit, not as glamorous.
Not as glamorous. No, not at all in drag. Although, wait, he puts on weird clothes that feel weird to him at some point in that story.
Oh, good point. Sorry, I'm kind of the bad boy of the podcast world. It doesn't matter.
Vertigo Theatre has a number of other radio plays that you can listen to right now, some written by Calgarian playwrights. And also Lunchbox has a fundraiser going on right now. If you go to givergy.ca, like energy, only it's givergy.ca/Lunchbox Theatre, you can help them raise money going to their silent auction. They usually have it in person, right? And everyone usually has their fundraisers in person. And we know it's a hard time to fundraise, but there's some excellent items on that silent auction, and I might have already bid on one. That's all. That's what's going on.
Excellent. So no one take Karen's silent auction item.
No.
And Kristy and Michael, is there any social medias you want to plug or websites for either yourself personally, for Blue Jeans? I know Blue Jeans Theatre had a fundraiser. Is that still going on? Can people still donate to that?
Yes, you can still donate to our GoFundMe. So that is Christmas Carol, a Drag Story on GoFundMe. You can find the links on our Facebook and Instagram, which is Blue Jeans YYC.
Outstanding. Karen, do you want to plug your social medias?
I can't remember what they are. No, I'm Karen Johnson Diamond on Facebook. I'm Mrs. N Diamond on Twitter. I don't know what I am on Instagram.
Excellent. You can contact us at thebreakfastdish@gmail.com if you want to talk about your artful thing that you're doing, or if you want to give thoughts about what we talked about. If it's anything dissing the Muppets Christmas Carol, I don't want to hear it. Stay out of my Gmail inbox. You can... I never know what to say. Like, rate, subscribe on all the podcasts. Do all your podcast actions toward us. Gosh, we'd appreciate it. And just as a little bit of a warning, the Breakfast Dish will be taking a hiatus on the month of January, and we'll be back in February. But we will still bring you some lovely Christmas things this month. Michael, Kristy, you've been just the best. I hope you have a happy holidays.
Griffin, do I get to ask them my question?
I've almost ruined Christmas, and yet Karen just saved it. We'd like to end a lot of episodes, as all of us, each of the hosts, both equally remember to do. That we like to end each of the episodes with a improvised breakfast-themed question that Karen makes up right here, as she's a professional improviser. Here we go, 3, 2, 1.
2 different questions. Michael, if Scrooge is making breakfast for Tiny Tim, what does he make him?
Oh, it's a classic English breakfast. Absolutely. I don't know what that all entails. I completely forget what is involved with an English breakfast. Bangers and mash? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tim's getting all of that. And
Tim's getting all
of that. From a microwave. Freshly squeezed from the microwave.
Kristy, if you yourself could eat breakfast with any of the characters from the Muppet Christmas Carol, which Muppet would it be?
Oh, Rizzo the Rat.
Yes!
Freshly squeezed from the microwave. Rizzo the Rat is, again, wishing you all a happy holidays, because Griffin will no longer forget his podcast segments starting now. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Bop, 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 bop. This has been The Breakfast Dish.